Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today it is the much anticipated fight between the Noctua NH-D14 and the Thermalright Silver Arrow. I've had the Silver Arrow for a little while, and to be quite honest with you, I wanted to make sure that I put enough time into it and enough setup in it so that, because as we know, there's always people that will moan. And I'm sure there will be stuff that people will moan about with this one, but I'm trying to cover as many bases as possible. Now I want to start explaining the specifics about the setup and the way that we will be testing. And this will be the same throughout all of the tests. The only thing that will change throughout the tests is the clock speeds and the voltage, within the BIOS. But essentially, I'll just talk you through it now. We've got the Big Phoenix Survivor case, which is a well ventilated mid-tower, so it's not massively expensive or anything like that, so it's an average sized case, it's an average performing case. We've got a complete system inside consisting of a Gigabyte UD3 V2 or Rev2, however you want to put it, an Intel i7-950, and while we get to that, I'll tell you about the clock speeds now. We're going to be running tests at 4 GHz, it's like the holy grail for most people, at 1.25 volts, which is an average voltage for that. It's a bit more than my chip needs, but I'm trying to make this kind of easier for everybody else. We will also test at 4.2 GHz at 1.35 volts, and we will also test at 4.4 GHz at 1.45 volts. So there's a big increase in voltages there. The reason why I've done it across the range is so that you can also see from like the usable temperatures. For example, if you've got a 930 that needs 1.35 volts of 4 GHz, you'll pretty much get your answer with the 4.2 GHz run on this. So you can use it to base your own processor on to see what your CPU would get with that specific cooler. Continuing on, we've got the stock cooling in the case, but with a Noctua 120mm in the back. We've got 6 GB of Mushkin RAM, and it's the radioactive stuff. That's running at 2000 MHz throughout all the tests. All I'm going to be doing is running a 200 base clock and then changing the multiplier, so 20, 21, 22. So then we've got 4 GHz, 4.1, 4.2 GHz, 4.4 GHz. Nice and simple. We've got an 850 watt Corsair in the bottom, Windows 7, yada yada yada. Basically, looking away quickly, what we're going to be doing is running Prime 95, and it's the second option down. It's in place, large FFTs, maximum heat, power consumption, some RAM tested. What I'm going to do for every test is let this system idle for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to run Prime for 30 minutes. At the 30-minute deadline, I will take a temperature reading. Each temperature reading will be taken 3 times. So 3 tests run for every single one. So there's a lot of testing involved. Also, what we're going to do to try and cover all the bases is, excuse me, I've just had a lovely cup of tea that my other half made. I'm going to take an average reading across all 4 of the cores to get the temperature reading, and I've also got a room thermometer. I'm not going to change the. Normally, I have an air conditioner running to hold it at 20 degrees, but what we're going to do is we're going to record a delta temperature as well. And the delta temperature is the temperature above the ambient temperature. So you take your maximum temperature, for argument's sake 70 degrees. You substitute the ambient temperature, which for argument's sake is 20 degrees, and that gives you a delta temp of 50. So just to explain to you, that's what that is. So we'll be doing the average temperature across all 4 of the cores at load, and the delta temperature as well at all of the speeds and on both of the coolers. Now I'm going to try and squeeze this in to videos for you as well. They may only be like 1-minute snapshots, but essentially I'm going to try and do it as best I can. I know just continuously seeing different sort of like temperatures on the screen isn't going to be the most riveting thing in the world, but it's just a way of me to show you the clock speeds, the temperatures, and the fact that it is completely maxed out, so that you can see for yourself that all the results are genuine. The side is off the case at the moment. I've just noticed in the camera. I thought I'd better bring this up, but I will, when testing, it will be completely closed like a normal system at home would as well. So you'll have all the extra heat radiating up from the graphics card and everything like that, which I might add is a 6870, because I forgot to say about it before. So hopefully, squeaky chair, hopefully I've covered all the bases there and explained all the things that I need to. And now pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting in with the results, and what we will do is we'll have 4 GHz Noctua, then 4 GHz Thermalright, and then 4.2 and then 4.4, and then at the end I will summarise, wrap it all up, and we can finally put this argument to bed. So, massive introduction, but to be quite honest with you, it's quite a big review because it's something that a lot of people have been talking about and showing interest in. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up, and the next thing you're going to see is some Noctua temperatures. Right then guys, first test, just to show you there, you can see the core speed and the voltage move up. You can see the temperatures, 66, 64, 62, 62. You can see the fact that it's running prime, and then if we move down you can see I've got, that says 23.2, but when I took my measurements it said 23.3. So I'll just show you back up to the screen again. Basically, with an average of the temperatures across all 4 cores is 63.5 degrees, and with the room temperature, which has now just gone back up again to 23.3 degrees, that gives us a delta temperature of 40.2 degrees for the Noctua at 4 GHz. So with the first test out the way, let's crack straight on with the Thermalright. So then guys, straight in with the Thermalright at 4 GHz then. As you can see there, the ambient temperature is 23.3, it was 23.2 when I took my measurements. There again is verification, we're running 4 GHz and 1.25 V-core. Prime has been running for 30 minutes, well 35 minutes now. And then there's your temperatures. Wait for my tripod to make its mind up. There's your temperatures. When I took my temperatures I had 65, 62, 63, 61, which is the temperatures I will be commenting on. Basically your average temperature across all 4 cores was 62.75. And then if you substitute the ambient temperature from that, you get the delta temperature of 39.55 degrees. I'm not going to talk about the pros and cons and who won and who didn't till the end of the video. So watch your way through all of the tests, and then at the end of the video I will summarise all of the results and let you know the winner. Right then guys, on to 4.2 GHz. Starting off with the Noctua again. There you can see the verification of the core speed that we're running and the volts. That is 1.35 volts, just need to allow a little bit for V-droop. We come across there, the lower temperature, 23 degrees, you can see that. When I took my temperatures I had 22.8, the room was obviously getting warmer because of the testing. I also took my temperatures at 75, 75, 72, 71. As I said, temperatures are changing a little bit because of temperature of the room changing. But with the temperatures that I took, the average across all 4 cores was 73.25, and if you deduct the ambient of 22.8 off, that gave us 50.45 degrees as a delta temperature for the Noctua on 4.2 gigahertz with 1.35 volts. So without further ado, let's move straight on to the Thermalright results. Hey guys, this is the 4.2 gigahertz on the Thermalright. As you can see there, the ambient temperature at the bottom, inside temperature, is 23.4 degrees. You can see there the V-core and the fact that we are at 4.2. And then move up to the, I need a new tripod, move up to the voltages, I do apologise, move up to the temperatures, which do seem to flick around a lot more than the Noctua. They don't seem as static. They do go up and down quite a bit. When I took my results, I got 76, 73, 72, 71 with an ambient of 23.4. So the average temperature across all the cores is 73 degrees. And then with a 23.4 ambient, that gave us a 49.6 degree delta temperature. There you can see the ambient temperature there now, guys, is going up since I took the temperatures before. There you can see the core speed and the voltage, 1.45 volts at 4.4 gigahertz. Move up to the temperatures there. Do love my tripod. 91, 90, 86, 84. When I took the temperatures, I had 91, 90, 86, 85, and the ambient temperature was 20.6. Basically, the temperature is starting to rise a bit now. But when I took the temperatures, that gave me a average temperature of 88 degrees across all 4 cores. Taking away the ambient temperature at the time, that gave me 67.4 degrees for a delta temperature. Obviously this is the 4.4 gigahertz at 1.45 volts maximum runs, so an awful lot of voltage for the coolers to be trying to handle. What I'm going to do now is we're going to move on to the Thermalright, and we'll see how the Thermalright copes with all of these volts and all of this heat going through it. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you something quick because I'm going to abort the test. You can see the ambient temperature there is 22.4. You can see there that we are at 4.4 gigahertz at the same volts as before, but also that the testing temperatures have just reached 100 degrees, which obviously I'm not happy with my processor, and I'm going to abort the test. Also, just so you know, that the test has been running for about 15 minutes now, and I'm going to have to end it. Oh, the system's just frozen as I was about to end it then. It might blue screen, but it has completely frozen now, so I'm going to have to manually turn off the machine. Right then, you've seen all the testing, and now you've seen it all, I want to explain something. This is the second silver arrow that I've had, and when I spoke about the temperatures that I got, because my 930 previously that I was testing with was a very, very hot chip. It was a bit of a dog, to be quite honest with you. I really lost out on the silicon lottery with that one. But when the volts were really pushed on it, I said to Thermalright at the time that the Noctua was better, and they told me that that was completely inaccurate. I needed a new cooler, redo my testing, so that's the reason why I've been so anal with this video. And I've done it all above board, do you know what I mean, straight out, do you know what I mean, as it should have been done. I explained all the ins and outs of how I was testing before. And at the end of the day, at 4 gigahertz, the Thermalright did win. The Noctua was 40.2 degrees delta temperature, and then the Thermalright was 39.55. So a 0.7 of a degrees in it. When you move on to 4.2, the Noctua was 50.45 and the Thermalright was 49.6, so you're looking at sort of 0.8 of a degree in it. But when you really crank the volts, 1.45 volts to the 4.4 gigahertz, the delta temperature for the Noctua was 67.7, but the Thermalright hit 100 degrees and I bought it to test, so I've put that as a did not finish. So just to explain to you the core temperatures at that point in time, the Noctua was 88, 89 degrees and the Thermalright was, do you know what I mean, two of the cores happily hit 100 degrees. I think it had been testing about 17 minutes at that point in time, so it just passed the halfway mark, just could not cope with the heat, couldn't push the heat out off it. And the heatsink was actually really hot to touch as well, so it wasn't the fact that do you know what I mean, there wasn't enough thermal paste or anything like that on there. The heat was getting transferred into the heatsink fine, it just was not dissipating that heat adequately enough. So if you're running, I'd say sort of the 4 gigahertz and the 4.2 gigahertz is kind of a usable overclock for 24/7 anyway. So technically there is a small margin there. So at the end of the day, if you want that extra 0.7 degrees, then the Thermalright might be for you. But I just want to clarify some other things as well. I'm not using massive RAM, I'm using the Mushkin with a frostbite heatsink. And I had no issues with mounting or anything like that with the Noctua, but because of the size of the fan on the Thermalright, it stands right out, so I couldn't get the door on. So when I did the testing, so that it was still sealed, I actually put the door on as best I could and sellotaped it all shut, gaffer taped it all shut, so it's still a sealed unit, to make it fair, do you know what I mean? It was pretty much just to hold it in place and make sure no air could get in or out. So with an average size case, which this is, a mid-tower case, if you've got anything more than literally just the normal PCB size RAM, so nothing with a heatsink on it or anything like that, just proper, literally normal sized RAM, nothing out of the top, you'll just be able to fit this. Anything else, because this Mushkin's probably like, it's not even, you know, I mean, it's not big at all, but you won't be able to fit it. Now, when you've seen the Noctua in the case before, with the Mushkin, it all fits in lovely, it just goes in, it clips on, and even the 120mm fan on the back is completely on the heatsink as well. It doesn't have to stand up at all, fits it a treat, but not with this. And also another thing with this is the fan clips are, Thermalright, I've been using them for forever, and they're a proper pain in the arse, because literally for the middle fan and this top one back here, I can't clip it on, so I'd have to fit the heatsink first to be able to clip it all on properly, because basically I can't get my hand in there. I've got the fan at the top, I can't get my hand round in, there's just no way for me to make that final clip. The others I can do it alright, but it's just, and like to be able to move the fans up and down with this one, you end up with these big bloody tin things sort of hanging out, and for me this just looks cheap. Whereas with the Noctua, you literally, where the clips are on the side, you literally just get in, clip, clip, and with this, literally I can get my hand in, pull the clips off. It's just so much easier. But another thing with the Thermalright is once you've done all the putting like the mount on, which is very similar to the Pro Limatex, which I hate because it's all screwing this and unscrewing that, fitting all this on. It's a pain in the bum really. But then you've got this centre plate which fixes it on, similar to the Noctua style thing, but you've got this a dial in the middle which you can add pressure with. Now you can get it on with it fully maxed out already, but you probably have to lean on it and it's not the best thing for your motherboard. So if you loosen it off, once you've fitted it, you've then got a tool which they send you. I'll show you it quick. You've got a tool which they send you, and it's literally just this little key thing. And the teeth ain't very big anyway. As far as I'm a mechanic by trade, but as far as this is concerned, the teeth are crap, and it's a proper pain in the arse to get it on there. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't want to be using this very often. But when you get it on there, I mean, with the North Bridge on this, it was a proper pain in the bum. It was a graphics card out job, always smacking my hand on the heatsink. It was horrible. You'd think they'd at least have the thought to put a big flathead kind of cut in it, so you could use a big flathead screwdriver or something if you want. But no, they give you this wanky bloody tool, and yeah. At the end of the day, I use the Noctua daily for a reason. It's easy to use, it fits into cases. If you want to use different RAM, move the RAM up and down, you can do. But to be quite honest with you, now I've found that the Mushkin fits and performs so well and everything like that, I'm never going to go away from using Mushkin RAM. Or at least, unless somebody brings something out which is quick as Buzz Lightyear or something. And the mount is so simple, I take it off all the time. It's almost like a couple of screws off, out, do you know what I mean? I can have it disassembled in like 5 minutes flat. But this, I think I'd end up flinging it out the door. So, if you want to know what I would do and what I want for as far as that sort of like, not even a degrees difference is concerned, I mean, if you want that, go and buy it, that's cool. If you want my advice for a long-term buy that you're going to be able to put in rigs, you're going to be able to live with, I'd probably go as far as to say quieter as well. I would honestly still say that the Noctua is still the king of the hill. I'm not going to be changing over. You've seen the graphs, you've seen the temperatures, you can make your own mind up, but if you want my advice, then as far as I'm concerned, the Noctua is still the best all-round cooler on the planet. Mainly because at the end of the day, you don't want a heatsink that, do you know what I mean, it's just horrible. You want something that's going to work and all that kind of stuff. And as I said to you, with the fitting on the Thermalright, I'm almost positive there's going to be loads of you out there that are not going to be able to get it in a mid-tower case, whereas with the Noctua, it's going to go straight in. So I'm not going to keep going on about it, because I have actually, recorded this about 4 or 5 times now, because I just kept going round and round and round in circles, and I'm trying to, remember what I have and what I haven't said. But at the end of the day, like I said, you've seen the temperatures now. I will let you make your own mind up. But as far as living with it and all that's concerned, for the sake of 0.8 of a volt, my money would still be on the Noctua. And I know they're going to moan because the Thermalright is like £5 cheaper in some of the shops, but I personally would be happy to pay that extra £5 for a heatsink that I could fit in my case and I wouldn't have issues with my RAM or anything like that with. So I would personally say that the Noctua is still the better cooler, and it's still going to be the cooler that I tell every single person that asks me what heatsink to buy is going to be a Noctua NH-D14. I'm sorry Thermalright, I know I've got some of your other stuff and I look forward to reviewing it, but that is my final decision and I ain't testing it again. So this is Tiny Tom Logan putting an end to the argument. The Noctua is still the best cooler.